Another feature the Infragistics, NetAdvantage, ASP.NET WebChart has is the option of handling null data. So you may have values in your series that are null, and how would you like that to be handled? Well, the null handling feature of the chart allows you to select from any one of these enumeration members. So the don't plot option, which is shown here, if we're looking at this green line series, it pretty much stops whenever it reaches a null value. So that's one of the options. So in other words, just don't plot it on the chart. Setting this to 0 means that what it will do is wherever there is a null value, it will plot it as if it was 0, so that would cause it to go to the bottom, the lowest point of the chart itself. Or if you interpolate simple, what that does is pretty much grabs the average of the previous and next points or the neighboring points, and it performs an average, and it pretty much comes up with a number based on that algorithm. Or when you go for interpolate custom, what happens is an event is fired on the chart, which then you can write some code by querying the event arguments that are passed to you, and then you could come up with the value yourself at runtime. So you have several options on how to handle null values rather than just leaving it up to us completely. The chart has several rendering options, so it could be rendered by default as an image, which essentially, once the web page is sent out to the client's browser, it ends up being an image using an image tag. Or you can choose Flash, and when you go with the Flash option, it has a little bit more interaction, some basic interaction and mouse overs as you see here. When you go to image, you have various options. You can choose PNG, bitmap, JPEG, or GIF. You also have the ability to deploy the chart into the session, meaning if you do not wish the chart control to be created as an image which is placed on your web server's file system and then referenced by the ASPX web form, the other option that you have is session deployment, meaning that whenever the chart image is created, or whether the Flash object is created, it's actually stored in session and essentially referred to as a stream. And as you can see here in an example of this is what it looks like. The secure image pipe is essentially the component that Infragistics gives you to easily achieve this session deployment. You can watch the other related video on that topic on how that's done. So the file system deployment is when the image itself is stored and saved on the web server's file system, or essentially any other location that you designate and configure so that the chart component itself can create the image and write it to disk, which is then referenced in the URL property, or the address property of this image.
Infragistics. On the web at infragistics.com.